Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and back to another episode of Sifu. I just wanted to start this off by first saying this is a commentary that I actually recorded after I filmed this video. Originally I was going to just have me talking about this while I tried the spare run, and so with this first video over here we are essentially just trying to cover Fajar and Sean. In the next video I think I will actually just put the other three bosses together, and I actually finished the other three bosses on my own time, managed to record it, but not without my voice, not with my voice. So that's why I decided to do commentary for both. I'm just going to kind of run through my strategies here. If you're trying to get a no-hit run, well, not a no-hit run, but trying to get a spare run to get true ending as well, this would be a good option for you. Alright, so with the squats, I think one of the more major strategies I had here was just going through and actually unlocking the shortcut. So you will see later on we're going to unlock a shortcut, and the thing with most of these bosses when it comes to the spare is just simply finding how to get through that stage quickly. There are going to be some stages that are going to be slightly longer. For example, Karaoke, you can literally just go up to the top and it's actually kind of easy to go directly to the boss, but in the case of, like, for example, Sean, you actually have to fight through a lot more enemies. With Fajar though, it is actually quite easy. We come down here and there is a metal bar which we are going to get here. I was originally aiming for a 3 shrine run, so we get 3 shrines in every single stage, but that actually did not come to fruition. I actually managed to only get 2 shrines. So there's 2 shrines in a specific run. There's a shrine up ahead after this particular area in the front of us actually, and then the second one was just before the boss fight. If I had actually gone around, I would have actually been able to get the third one, but unfortunately that didn't happen. That's alright as well. And you can see I'm going for weapon durability here. I'm not going to put full points into weapons durability, just simply because we don't actually use a lot of weapons, I think. So I wasn't going to use it particularly much. Just usually I use the bat around this particular area just to take care of the 4 henchmen up on top, and that person we just took down over here, because there's quite a couple of people in the hangar. There's one just as you come up the stairs, and then there's actually a third person. I don't know if you guys have seen my previous playthroughs of the hangar, but you will actually see it right there. And you kind of move back, and then this is one I wasn't really aware of until the second time, I think, running back through the squats. But there is actually a 4th person you can take care of first, which is right over here. And right here, you can get 1 free takedown. The bat does hold up for most parts, but definitely gotta be careful. I think in multiple runs I've had, the moment I get into the fight, the bat just breaks. So don't count on it. So just leaving that person there for last, because I'm not sure if he was the reviving one, and we're good. Hangar is very much clear.
Boss said nobody gets through.
Okay, let's do this.
So if you guys are unaware, there is a true ending where you get a spare for each and every single boss, and you get a true ending, also called the Wude ending, and basically that's the actual true ending, which you'll be able to see in the next video, not this video though. So this one I'm still going up in durability, because weapon durability does help us. I think an issue with Karaoke especially as well was the weapon would break a bit too easily, and we keep on dropping it. It's a bit hard to defend against, but with Fajar in stage 1 and stage 2, having a weapon really benefits you. We're skipping directly to the boss fight. I do skip all the cutscenes here, and just quick dodge, I think the strategy I have with Fajar is he does this dodge, this kick, and he does like a second follow-up, which you just want to dodge by sliding under. And when he's close to you, he does a very similar thing. So I've just been kind of practicing the moves. You'll see when it comes to Fajar and Sean, I would have been able to take them down at like age 20, but because of spare, it makes it harder. And you do kind of expect a couple of deaths when you go through spare. I don't think a lot of people are going to be good enough to get through all the spares purely and not die once at all. They got to be quite skillful at Sifu, and I'm personally not one of those people. So kicks are generally high, I think, for Fajar, and that side kick there, yeah. So just a lot of hide and just dodge low. And so with Fajar, just always maintain distance so you can just get that second dodge, and it really helps out. And you can see I'm not having a lot of trouble with Fajar here. A couple of hits from the large kick from earlier, but for the most part, it's a very followable pattern, just really easy to remember. Right, so the spare is where it gets hard, because Fajar has a specific move where he takes the machete and just kind of chops you down, and it's one you are going to have a little bit of trouble with. It's one I have had trouble with, and that's why I'm kind of doing commentary on this, because I want to give you my thoughts on doing this spare run. That move there cracks through your structure. And kind of at this point, I don't think I particularly realize at this point, but there's a lot of parrying you can actually do. So you'll see me do a lot more of this parrying strategy with Kuroki, actually, but there's actually a lot more parrying you can actually do here, especially with Yang as well. With Fajar and Sean gets a little tricky. We'll talk about it later. Fajar, the thing is, the blade kind of does a lot of damage to your structure, and if you're not really looking out for it, you can see I'm actually mainly aiming to try to get that structure down, although you can see the health is already down by half. We're just trying to do our best to block and maybe do some parries here, but like again, it's not a strategy I particularly noticed until later on. And here we have our first death. Fajar has got some pretty sick blade moves, and I think that's why if I was trying to play aggressively, I would be able to survive this without dying, but the spare is what makes it so hard. So there we go. Just a couple of parries here. I think it's a bit timing here, because Fajar really does like get your structure down really fast. It's almost terrifying. And I was actually really worried initially that I would just crack him and somehow accidentally kill him during this during the spare run, or no kill run if you'd like to call it that. We're gonna see if I'm able to. I don't remember. I remember. I think I did start doing more parrying bits, but I think it was mostly dodging and hoping, just hoping I can get the structure down fast enough. Yeah, here I was very intense on parrying, and you notice actually if you go back that Fajar has a very particularly guessable point when he kind of hits with that machete, but I don't know if it's gonna be something common to see. But yeah, there we go. Our first spare. Relatively simple, I think, in terms of most bosses. I actually have more trouble sparing Sean, actually. Alright, I think you guys might notice, but I've actually already spared Sean and Jinfeng. These were, I think I did the spare Sean run somewhere earlier on before I actually defeated Yang. Jinfeng, I think I already spared the first time around. What was mainly here was just trying to get to Kuroki. So going a little bit out of tradition here, I'm kind of editing out the loading bits. We're jumping directly into the club, just kind of shortening the experience here. Again, I really do apologize if you're normally here not for this kind of commentary and like real-time reactions. But it's just, I'm not sure how I want to present it to you guys when I already finished my challenge of getting the true ending when it wasn't recorded. But I think for the most part at this point, I think I've upgraded and gotten most of the skills. Maybe I think at least a solid 3/4 of it.
Please don't hit me.
The dude that can share is just extra points if you want it, but if you don't want it, that's fine as well. This particular part is going to be a little bit tricky out of all of them, I believe. This is my personally least favorite part of the club. You do get really easy takedowns from the bat because these are supposed to be just normal people. But the sneaky revive guy and the bouncer is going to be slightly trickier. So this guy with the lights, you can see is actually the revive guy. It's something I know now. I think at the time I just realized this was a particular pattern because I was under the assumption the revive guy can change. I think I actually had trouble for some reason when I was fighting through the stage. I remember I think I might have died once in this particular area because having the revive guy and the tough guy at the same time, it was slightly tricky because, you know, at the end of the day, it's two tough people fighting against you. So it was just a little bit harder to figure out everything because I kind of got back in the corner here. Just going for a couple more skills here because there's not much you can actually do here. I'm just trying to find a way where I can space them out, but they do gang up on me quite often, so I'm in a bad spot a lot of the time.
Can't keep up.
And I don't know what happened with that chair. And yeah, revive guys can't even be swiped, so it's a little bit harder. And yeah, I got a death there. It was not intentional. I was actually not trying to get to that death. Very, very unfortunate. I've been able to run through the club perfectly, I think. I did one where I only died 3 times before on this channel, but it's actually only supposed to be 0 deaths. I've actually gone through. It's way easier to take care of the guy with the shirt. Very similar attack speed, the attack set. The easiest strategy here is just run towards them and do a sliding sweep. So if you haven't done that, grinding is going to be very important here. Just sweeping is really, really good skill against this particular enemy. And I didn't die here, which is good, but I got some boost back in structure because I think it was at this point I realized structure was pretty bad for me. And here I'm adding more to my structure. And here is where it gets tricky for the trials.
The 3 trials. I'm ready.
There's no easy way to speed past through the dialogue options, unfortunately.
Step forward. You're about to
You just need to take care of these 2 people. So this person in red normally is the revived person, so you want to just be careful about that one and just make sure you don't do a takedown. You just want to take them out regularly and then get a weapon because there's going to be a lot of people who already have weapons and you're actually better off getting a weapon. Either metal pipe, there's a couple of wooden sticks lying around, those are always good.
Let's go into the beyond. Survival.
And what we're trying to do here as well, I'm trying to maintain using the same weapon or weapons that enemies have used, because there's one extra weapon you'll see. It's a wooden plank just lying when you first enter in the room. You want to keep that for the next area, the next test. It's mostly straightforward here though. Just take them out, hit them against the wall, dodge the attacks.
Oh man.
If you've been watching some of my videos, you know I've been getting a lot better with the weaving. It's not perfect, but for the most part, weaving is coming very naturally to me now, being able to dodge everything.
User, a thief. Come on, wake up.
Here, I'm just kind of messing up because I thought the powerful punch was coming in third, but it came in fourth. But that was sorted out pretty quickly. Yeah, now this time I knew it was the fourth one, but most of the time it's third. That's why I was a little confused. But you know, got the health back. 3,000 XP. Press R1. Kick the staff, use the bar, smack her into the wall, she'll drop her staff, and just keep on relentlessly beating her, and then she'll just revert back to Sean, Disciple. Just before we reach Sean, it's really tricky here, I think, in my opinion. I think I always have trouble with these two, but you kind of have to take care of these two. These two are both Sean disciples. One falls down the stair, which is honestly really convenient for structure. Having two people do the Sean string at the same time is honestly really tough sometimes. But you just want to make sure you just manage to... If you know the string, you'll be good. You'll be good. I think I got more structure on this one. I think structure tends to be a really good boost instead of attack or weapon durability. Yeah, the thing with Sean here, I think, is as much as you want to keep the staff, Sean is going to make sure you don't keep that staff. I kept on having trouble trying to maintain the staff. Like, I knew the attack pattern. I just wanted to keep the staff for stage 2, but it kept on being an issue. So I just kind of gave up on it, like at some point through here. Yeah, but Sean, these two strings, I think I might have mentioned this before actually when I actually defeated Sean for the first time, but the strings are really easy to read once you know what they are. I had a lot of trouble the first time doing this because I wasn't aware of the strings, but once you know which way to dodge for the individual strings depending on what you're doing, like, you get a really good sense of things. I think as usual with most boss fights, just take care of stage 1, you're perfectly fine. Stage 2 is really just where it gets hard. And here you can see stage 1 really simply over, and I think I made a really crucial mistake in stage 2 here, and here I skipped the cutscene. But one of the things you're going to realize is that blocking Sean's attack is slightly harder than anticipated. I actually wasn't planning to block Sean's attack and try to parry it. Actually, originally, you can see I'm just dodging a lot. I think it's a mistake I realized I made, like, only quite close towards the end when Sean actually gets really dangerous. So basically, the strat here for me personally, it's just not something I actually realized until it's way too late. I was basically just trying to beat Sean at this point. Wasn't really particularly talking about sparing. I think it was just I realized exactly how bad it was to build up structure at this point that I just realized, and he started being more aggressive. So what I did was just essentially just try to beat him a little bit more when he was blocking, just to increase his stagger, but it's not exactly something to build, and that low kind of basically always get me. And you'll notice that there's a third variant of the string. It's a variant of the one where they sweep towards your head, but it starts with a low first, and that variant is just really annoying. Here I'm just essentially just trying to find a way to dodge. I'm just trying to hit him when he's blocking, which is just incredibly tough. And you'll see I'm actually gonna die. I think I died like a grand total of like 3 times in the stage. I don't remember. Since I'm recording this while I'm watching this again, I'm just trying to remember how many times I actually died here. But Sean was one of those bosses where it was incredibly tough for you to actually spare without taking a lot of damage. I think the only one who gave me as much trouble was probably Jin Feng, which was kind of ironic considering they're one of the easier bosses to defeat. But we'll probably talk about that when we come along to Jin Feng. But with Sean so far, you'll notice my strategy at this point was just dodging, getting enough stagger, and just trying to generally block. I think I noticed at this point I needed to block a lot, so what I was doing was actually parrying and then reducing my stagger by dodging, then following up with a couple of punches. And you'll see this is where I realized I made a mistake. Was when I first started to start parrying when Sean got into his aggressive state. You'll notice Sean now looks like he's on fire. Now this on fire Sean, if he wasn't on fire already with the dojo, he does a lot more lows. And my first death here was when it first really set in that I had made a mistake. Because Sean's attacks are slightly harder to parry when he's in this state. And I was like, oh man, how do I spare this guy if I can't even fill his stagger bar? You'll notice it's very close, but it's not there. And I was just trying to pull in some punches over here, and I was actually reverting, instead of using heavy, I was actually reverting to use a couple of light attacks here and there. But I don't think that actually made a difference. This is one of those fights where I thought, hey, this is one of those things that I totally underestimate. I think it was at this point where I fully understood. When I first played through this as well, Sean was one of those bosses that made me think maybe the game wasn't so simple after all. And this spare run, this no-kill run as well, was also one of the things that welcomed me to that. And you can see second death here, getting to 25. I do recall getting a third one. Because basically, you'll notice at this point, I was probably thinking to myself, oh my god, he is cracked. He has been staggered, but the amount of health he has left makes it almost impossible for me to try to figure out a way to increase his bar, deplete his bar, or whatever it is, without attacking him. So at this point, you'll notice I'm actually giving life, literally. I'm giving away my health to him just to get in the blocks, just to get them all in. And I was, this was a horrible experience, purely because it was a mistake I made. I should have been doing this earlier before he actually triggered his fire. And I still try to put hits in because ultimately the hits do contribute, but another death. Ultimately, I was just trying to get in some hits to get that stagger up, but it is very, very hard.
As stubborn as our elder masters.
Don't make my mistake. Get the stagger early when it's not that terrible. When he's on fire, the actual stuff he does, I'm pretty sure his damage is higher. The strings are different. Like, it's like your worst nightmare. So you can see I've been dodging a lot, just trying to get my structure back. But it was just me at this point figuring out how to block. So you can see I wasn't even trying to attack, I was just trying to get the parries in once I got the thing. I think I realized the third attack on the swing when he hits my head is easier parried. So you can see it's a slow grind up to that parry spot. But it was very hard. Just trying to create some space here. You can see finally we're getting really close, but the amount of health I think I gave up for this was way much more than I had originally anticipated. Don't remember if this was an issue with Kuroki as well, but Sean was one of those things I definitely underestimated when I first tried to get the spare run. And very close soon. There we go. Incredibly tough to do, I think. This is one of those bosses you should definitely not underestimate. Again, like I said before, I actually spared him before this, but when I was originally doing this video, I think I made a mistake, a really heavy mistake. But yeah, I think that mostly sums up what I have to say on the no spare for these two bosses. This is not a guideline in any sense of the word. I'm not making it and saying guideline, but this is basically me commentating over my performance trying to spare these two bosses. I definitely do think Fajar is a way easier boss to spare once you kind of get things down. And again, I did spare him literally the first video, not the first video, the second video I did on Sifu, I literally spared Fajar. But Sean is one of those bosses I underestimated so badly and stuff like that. But yeah, unfortunately, again, I do want to apologize to you guys for presenting this video in a different way by commentating over gameplay I already have. But it's just, I didn't record the other two videos with my commentary. The first one I actually did. I actually sat down for a recording session and I actually finished it, but the other two I didn't. And I couldn't just bear giving you one with real-time commentary and the other two with commentary just like this. So I had to make it the same. This will be part of the series because I am presenting you the no kill, the spare run. But as you can see, I think I've unlocked most of my skills. There's a lot of grinding, but if you do want to do grind, by the way, here's a really good grind tip. Probably do the club. The club has a lot of enemies. Comparatively, you should probably get a lot of EXP from it. And at this point, I got most of the skills I need. I was trying to save for the weapon thing. But yeah, hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy. Again, I know this is not my usual commentary thing. We will be back to regular commentary when this series is over, but I really needed to present to you guys the version where you don't kill any of the bosses. So yeah, hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So, bye.